Hey ladies, Diane Polly here, client conversationalist, teaching women entrepreneurs like myself how to learn to share their story out loud so they can have really, really powerful conversations with their ideal clients. Because in a digital age, communication is a lost art form, and there's something really powerful in having a really good conversation, putting all of you into your business, knowing who you are, and being able to connect really deeply and authentically with that person you're meant to serve, that ideal client, who I believe is simply an extension of yourself, someone a few years back, a few months back, who needs your help and only your help. So, on that note, today I wanted to come to you and I wanted to chat a little bit about something that was spurred in a conversation I actually had yesterday with a client and a really, really great friend. And the idea and the word trajectory came up a lot. And it made me think about my path to getting to where I am now. I've been in entrepreneurship for quite a while and I've had many, many, many ups and downs. But I've learned from my mistakes, and one thing that you have to understand is that going into business or doing something, of your own, there's going to be lots of ups and downs, and you have to treat everything as a creative experiment or project, and be willing to be flexible and be willing to adapt as well. And it's not the easiest thing, but you learn as you go. It's an ever evolving process. I can't even speak this morning. Go figure. But on that note, I wanted to come to you today because that conversation sparked something in me, and it made me think about an email that I actually wrote a few months ago, which I'm going to read to you now. And I really painted the picture for my clients in that email of where I was last year in my other business I was running, and then when I rebranded this year, where I got to a few months ago. So the before and after picture in my own life. And if a lot of you have been following me since the beginning of the year, I've been teaching communication and doing a bit of copywriting and putting my voice out there. But what you may not know is that, I typically say I hit rock bottom in my other business at the end of last year. And sometimes I say, that it failed. But what really happened was that I was building what was a startup or an accelerator, and I had a little team going. And it was a completely different business model that I was totally not ready for. It was one that we would have needed funding for. And it wasn't something that I could just build on my own. So that's why I couldn't keep going with it. I had successes. I have clients that I'm still working with from that who, thank God, stayed with me through the journey. But this year I rebranded because I had to figure out, what? I'm not grounded in who I am, who I'm serving, and what my message is, what I'm actually saying. So that's why I've been doing everything differently this year, and I've been putting myself out there more and really trying to connect and have those conversations, walking my talk here with my ideal clients. So on that note, I want to read to you a bit from this email that I wrote so you can get a feel of what it was like before and after, and these trajectories that you go on that shoot you in the right direction. So my before moment was September 2014 last year, and I say lots of things are happening personally and so-called professionally. I was going to one of my last live events for the year in Montreal to learn how to build a course by a really amazing business owner. And I was also getting ready to leave my apartment that had been home to me for 4 years to move in with my boyfriend. And, lots of shifts were happening. And while my love life was starting to fall into place, my so-called professional entrepreneurial journey was still being sorted out. I went to Montreal to learn how to build a course around this really specific idea I had in mind, because last year I was working with millennials and artists and lots of people because I have a big heart and I wanted to help everybody. But little did I know, my message was so not clear. So by the end of September, as I moved into my new home and felt really secure there, I felt like I was totally losing myself and floundering in my business. I was getting ready to launch a course to these artists to teach them how to use social media to connect with their right clients, because I had a really successful story over the summer doing so, but nothing really felt right. I didn't have a big list to launch to, and I didn't like nurturing people just through email. So selling them something I wasn't even sure they wanted, I just thought they need it, wasn't connecting. So fast forward to the end of the year, and I think you know what happened. Everything I built kind of came crumbling down, and I could have given up at that moment. In fact, the coffee shop down the street looked very tempting to go and work at, but I kept going, and I rebranded in January of this year. So fast forward, second half of this email, I wrote this in September, so this is my after moment, September 2015, and I say, I can't believe it's almost October already, because I guess this is what happens when you're booked solid. What the fuck? I know, right? Since rebranding my business this year and taking a major step back to shift my mindset and focus on who I was serving, and what my message was, everything changed in the best way possible. Personally and now professionally, everything is soaring. My boyfriend and I, we just re-upped our lease. I guess, living together suits us pretty well. And it's funny, I wrote this a few months ago. Then I said we were getting ready to hop on a plane in a few weeks to head to Peru and explore what the terrain and culture has to offer. We actually just came back from that trip a few weeks ago, and it was really amazing. And for the first time, I feel like I actually have a business, because I have money in my PayPal account, my little business bank, compared to a year ago when I was staring at lots of zeros. I almost forgot about our upcoming vacation because I've been so busy with work. Wow, feels good to say that. And even better knowing that I've reached a point where I can actually reassess how I work, take a step back, and afford the option of raising my prices and working less, which I'm in the position of doing now in my little transition to owning CEO status. Taking a little out from this email for a second, that's where I am now, because I was so in my business, I realized now I have the permission to look at how I run this. So going back to the email, trust me, I did not see this for coming a year ago. I saw me as a local barista, basically. And that is how the tides turn. And I can finally own what I do. And like you heard, I help women entrepreneurs share their story out loud so they can have really powerful conversations with their ideal clients. And I get to teach this through my favorite means, writing and coaching. I'm letting go of the copywriting, so it's a win-win all around. And that's me just sharing what I wrote, 2 months ago, and just showing you how your before and after picture can totally change based on the trajectory you're going with. I did not see myself doing this type of work, a year and a half ago, but I kept going with my gut decisions and what my heart wanted, and I kept trusting this trajectory that was telling me, Diane, do what feels right. Do what your heart is telling you to do. Do what your little inner Jiminy Cricket is telling you to go with. Do not, forsake your integrity. Do not compromise your values. And every time you fall down, get yourself back up, because that's what your character is made up, and you were meant to lead. This is not for you. This is for you to be a stepping stone for all those people who need to hear those lessons learned. So these are the things I keep telling myself when things go up and down, because that's what happens. Even if you're operating from your zone of genius, life still goes up and down. But what you have then is a sense of joy that's continual and that keeps flowing, So even if things change again, which they kind of are, I'm okay with that. I'm able to be flexible and adapt. I can get knocked back down, but I can get up and stand back on my 2 feet because I keep trusting in my intuitive original thought. And I'm constantly creating and innovating and going and knowing that I have to make an impact for all of these other people, who need to hear this type of message. I feel like I just gave a little spoken word kind of run there. But I hope this message really spoke to you today on just the idea of trajectories and trusting your heart and going with your gut. And I hope hearing my before and after picture helped a little bit. So with that, I'd love to hear, your thoughts, your trajectories, your comments, your stories. And if you haven't already, definitely do. I have the link on the side or up or above this page, this video, to my new site that I created. The courses and programs are closed right now, but what is available are a bunch of freebies you can download to learn how to start communicating and having conversations in a digital age, so you can really be yourself and connect with those people you're meant to connect with. And once you download those, you'll be able to access my private little Facebook group I have going and I'm building now. And I'm really excited taking this in a whole new direction. So I hope to have you on the journey with me. Thank you so much for listening. I am signing out now. It's the weekend. I hope you enjoy yours, and I will see you on Monday. Till then.